As I set out on my journey late one fateful night, little did I know that I was about to experience the most terrifying encounter of my life. The moonless sky cast a shroud of darkness over the desolate highway, and an eerie silence seemed to engulf me. The only sounds were the low hum of the engine and the faint rustling of leaves in the distance. I had heard rumors about this stretch of road, infamous for its true highway horror stories, but I never believed in such tales. As I drove deeper into the darkness, a feeling of unease washed over me. The stories echoed in my mind, but I tried to dismiss them as mere superstitions. Suddenly, my headlights flickered, and the radio crackled with static. I shook it off as a normal electrical glitch, but I couldn't shake the growing sense of dread. The road ahead seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness, and the only guide was the occasional flickering of a distant street lamp. Just as I was about to convince myself that it was all in my imagination, I spotted a figure standing at the edge of the road. My heart raced, and I instinctively slowed down, unsure if I should offer help or drive past. It was a woman, dressed in tattered clothes, her hair disheveled and her eyes hollow. I hesitated, but something inside me pushed me to pull over and check on her. As I approached, I could see that she was injured, with bloodied hands and a forlorn expression. I asked if she needed assistance, but she remained silent, staring into the distance. Concerned for her well-being, I offered to take her to the nearest town. Still, she said nothing, only nodding slowly as she stepped into the back seat. The air inside the car turned frigid, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. As I resumed driving, the woman's silence became unnerving. I tried to make small talk to break the tension, but she seemed unresponsive, lost in her own world of sorrow and despair. With every passing mile, the darkness outside seemed to intensify, and I had a creeping feeling that we were no longer alone. In the distance, I spotted a dilapidated house, standing alone in the middle of nowhere. Its windows were boarded up, and the eerie glow of an old-fashioned lamp illuminated the front porch. The woman suddenly spoke, her voice hauntingly soft, directing me to stop there. I parked the car hesitantly, my unease growing by the second. She stepped out without a word, disappearing into the shadows, and I couldn't help but follow her. The creaking of the house's front door sent shivers down my spine, but I couldn't turn back now. Inside, the air was thick with a sense of malevolence. The woman led me to a room at the end of a dimly lit hallway, and as we entered, I saw an old photograph on the wall. To my horror, it was a picture of the woman, but she looked nothing like the wounded soul I had encountered on the highway. In the photograph, she was surrounded by smiling children, her face exuding happiness. My heart pounded as I realized that this house was a place of tragedy, and the woman was a restless spirit, forever trapped in her past. The true horror of the highway stories now became all too clear. Those who encountered the lost souls of the past were doomed to share their torment. Suddenly, the woman turned to face me, her eyes now filled with malice. I tried to escape, but the door slammed shut, trapping me inside. She spoke in a chilling voice, recounting her tragic tale of loss and betrayal. The spirits of the children she had once cared for now haunted the house, seeking revenge on anyone who dared to enter their domain. I felt a cold grip around my neck, and I gasped for breath as the malevolent spirits closed in on me. In that moment of terror, I realized that my only chance of survival was to confront the truth behind the woman's suffering and free her from the cycle of torment. But as I delved deeper into the house's dark history, I uncovered a web of deceit and malevolence that stretched far beyond my comprehension. The spirits were not merely seeking revenge, they were feeding on the fear and pain of those they ensnared. In a desperate race against time, I struggled to find a way to break the curse and release the spirits from their eternal suffering. It was a night of terror I would never forget, battling the unknown forces that sought to claim my soul. To this day, I can't shake the memory of that haunted highway, and the terrifying encounter that forever changed me. The true horror of that night lies not only in the spectral beings that haunted that desolate road but in the darkness that lurks within us all, waiting to be unleashed. If you ever find yourself on that forsaken highway, beware the lost souls of the past, for they may never let you go.